What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Scalability Podcast. And today I got my boy Josh Lopez in the building.
What's going on? Yay! In the building.
Say yay!
What's happening, my boy?
In my season, yeah, yeah. Fell on my knees because I need them, yeah, yeah. Finally walking in my freedom, yeah, yeah. I'm so blessed, I know you see it, yeah, yeah. This my season, yeah, yeah. Fell on my knees because I need them, yeah, yeah. Finally walking in my freedom, yeah, yeah. I'm so blessed, I know you see it, yeah.
Welcome to the Scalability Podcast, your go-to resource for those who want to profitably grow their business and life beyond the limits of your personal time, energy, and skills.
That's it's funny, man. Like I don't know why they hate on us like that. They never considered the South Bay area like to be the Bay Area, but bro, we got hyphy here too.
I got hyphy as hell here.
Yeah. But man, so much. So for those of you who don't know Josh, he's been a really good friend of mine for like a long time. We originally met because you actually know my older brother Efren, right? Mm-hmm. You spend a lot of time around the barbershop, and when I say a lot of time around the barbershop, I don't just mean like hanging out, like whether it was cutting hair, I think even learning to cut hair.
Learn to cut hair.
Selling stuff.
Yeah. I used to make drop-offs there with my previous business with the clothing line stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then it just built up from there.
Yeah.
Especially like during a time when your brother was like, hey, I need some people, right? And then I was like, hey, that's me, right? And then, but I used to just kick it there a lot too, because the people that came through your brother's door, looking back at it now, there's a lot of networking being done there.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Which I didn't look at it when I was younger. But we're all just kicking it, right?
Yeah.
But you used to come through, and you were always like on your grind and stuff like that. I would pick your brain about a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's how we got cool, right? Your brother was like the between guy, right? He's like hustling, but then he's like also trying to like elevate his business at the time, right? And then a lot of the people that used to hire and employ at the time, they all got hustler mindsets.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, I think that barbershop represented a lot of different things for me because my brother has always been really good with his hands, and I have not, right? Like I can't cut hair, my writing's hella sloppy. I've never been able to produce a product with my hands. I've always had like the brain side, right? And for me, that took a lot longer to manifest than cutting hair, right? And I remember like I would just get so frustrated sometimes, like, man, like these barbers, they can learn how to cut hair and within a few months they can start making like 7, 8, 9, 10 grand if they're really good. Right.
You'd be surprised, dude. Those guys make like numbers I did not think until I was like there.
Drop it. What are we talking about?
I mean, you can make like 10 grand in a month, dude.
Yeah.
Like
tax free.
Yeah, definitely tax free.
Yeah.
But it just blew me away. I didn't even know you could make that kind of money cutting hair before I was in that world.
Yeah, man. And so with that being said, guys, like that's where we originally started, right? So let's kind of like dive in a little bit to your background, right? Because I want everybody to know you, because the very first thing I think like I want to dive into, brother, is your fitness. Okay, because dude, like that's something that I've always known about you, and throughout your journey, you have always been like on your fitness. You've actually competed in like bodybuilding competitions. So tell us about that.
So I've never actually competed like bodybuilding, but I did train for physique, right? Okay.
And is there a difference?
There's a big, huge difference, right? Okay. I would totally get outed right now if I didn't make that clear, but there's a big difference. I used to train at Burnell Gym, right? Where a lot of the big guys train there, bodybuilding, physique, all those guys. Yeah. And that's kind of how I grew. Originally, like I said, when I had the first business as a clothing line, it was like a fitness clothing line, right? That's how I got tight with a lot of those guys there, right? I had something that they were like, they all thought was pretty cool. It blew up there, was selling a lot of items there. But not only that, once I got really tied into like the fitness, right? I've always been with like fitness stuff in general, like running, exercising and stuff like that. Yeah. But I feel like once I really got tied in with those guys, I'm like, dude, like these guys, it's like you see these guys and you're like, oh, I'm never gonna be cool with them, and then and then once I got like kind of like cooler in the circle with them, I guess you could say, right? I'm like, dude, I want to kind of transfer into that world, right? So I never, like I said, I never did bodybuilding, but I did train at one point for like a physique competition, but it ended up being about the same time I was graduating from San Jose State, and you have to do what's called like peak week, where you're like low carbs. You're like flushing everything out, right? You're getting ready basically, right? To compete. And the timing of that with my finals, the coach I had at the time, right? Just was like, nah, like it's not gonna, like you're gonna do more damage, or you're gonna like just basically like mess up your finals with San Jose State because how like deficit, I guess you could say, right? You're gonna be, because you have no carbs in your system. You have to super be focused. Like you're doing like 2 hours of cardio alone on top of your training. And then you have to like drink like a gallon or two.
Can you do me a favor? Can you move closer to the mic?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, better. Okay. That's better. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so you have to basically like all the training I would do on top of like lack of sleep during my finals week and stuff. It was just colliding like two worlds in one. Yeah. It just wasn't gonna work.
Well, how'd you get through it then?
So I ended up, the coach that I had at the time was like, just focus on your school, because you can always come back to competing, right? Yeah. And then I graduated, I passed, did all my finals, right? Celebrated for a couple weeks. The competition that I wanted to do was kind of out the window. Now I'm like, okay, now I got to wait for another one, right? Because
oh, damn. So you trained all that time and you didn't even get to compete?
No.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. And there's certain competitions that you can only be in it for a beginner, right? And I kind of wanted to do like a Fit Expo one that was like here, closer, and it's like you got to wait like either a whole year or you got to travel, which is always fun. Like I see all my friends like traveling for like ones all around the world competing and stuff like that. To them, that's fun, because then they get to go see places, they get to compete, right? And then they get to enjoy it after and make a vacation of it. Yeah. Which is pretty dope. But like right after I got out of San Jose State, I just got busy with stuff. So. Yeah. And I never like got to that era of like training again for the comp. I was just, I know how to do it now. And then I took everything I learned from that, as far as like how to eat, train, and stuff like that. And I still use that stuff today. Yeah. But I just never got up to like, I just never got interested in competing again.
But you know what though? Like, regardless of whether or not you got to compete, like, bro, like I've seen the photos. Like you were in shape like crazy. Like that was probably like the pinnacle for you, right, at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, I mean, dude, you're still in shape, especially like right now. Now you're in real estate, right? And I know that a big part of, dude, like people like doing business with people that look good. Like I'm very well aware of that. I'm the fat guy who's the exception. Okay. But I'm very well aware though that like sexy people get more business.
It's 100%, because I know some agents that show up and they just look like they get shit done by the way they work, or by the way they look. Right. Yeah. So like,
it's and it might not even be the truth, but they look the part.
Sometimes it's definitely not the truth, but they tell us that too. Like even when I was at San Jose State, that you get judged on that stuff, like during the interview process, or like you walk into like a room and stuff like that, like just based upon physical physique, right? Yeah, is how people will like determine or kind of like basically like read you as a person, right? Yeah. And then like if he's like somebody that looks fit, this and that, he's probably really goal oriented, disciplined, right? Ambitious, right? Or like he just overall just can get shit done.
Yeah, dude. And I think that like, okay, so if you ask me, right, I've always had like a struggle with working out and weights and what and losing weight and whatnot, but I always like look at like what's the opposite of me, right? Because I always see like, okay, so I'm overweight, yes, but I have a company, it's successful, I'm able to make money, I can go out to eat, I can travel, I can provide for my family, I can do all these things. And typically the opposite is like somebody who is so focused on their body they're broke. Like, you know what I mean? Like they know how to look good, they just don't know how to make money. Now for you though, I feel like I've always like, this is a conversation you and I have always had. I'm like, dude, if you put in that same effort, like that you put into your body, into business, like your bank account will look like your body.
Yeah. You've told me that one before for sure.
Yeah. Which now, dude, like, fast forward, we're in a pretty tough market. So for those of you, okay, so, Josh was into building his physique, not his body, building his physique. Don't attack me, all you fucking bodybuilders, people.
You did make the correction though. You're learning.
Hey, so then careful.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So then from there you go and you do a marketing agency, right? So you had a clothing brand. So you went to college, then you started a clothing brand, then you went into a marketing agency.
A few things prior. So I'll break it down. So we had originally it was the clothing line, right? While I was like in San Jose State and stuff like that. Came out, went full-fledged with it, right? And then after that, shut that down, right? After that, went into a social media management business. Was doing that for a bit, right? Basically going into companies, asking them if they need like photos and videos. At the time, you could get away with photos. Yeah. Content wasn't that crazy with like video at the time. It was like really just all photography.
Yeah.
So I could get away with like making 2-3 posts, right, for a company, and then getting them as like a retainer or whatnot, right? And then just running their social media account and charging them a couple $100 to make 2 or 3 posts, right? And then when you have, let's say 5, 6, 7 clients, right, at one time that you're doing that for a week, it's pretty good money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I was doing that. I had that for a business. And then I kept getting asked, like, basically, like, you know, when I was doing the social media management business, do you have anybody that knows how to make websites? And I said, at the time I didn't. At the time, I had no idea. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I knew you were always doing like the VA stuff, and I knew a couple other people. But like in our circle, right, dude? There's barbers, and then there's people that they're either going to school, they work a job, they're maybe like a street pharmacist, right? Like other than that, we don't. And especially like around from where we're at, right? We don't know website developers and techs and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, dude, my company started as web development, right? And then I quickly realized, like, oh, dude, web development fucking sucks. Like, as a business, it's not a good business.
So I kept getting asked it when I was doing the social media management. And basically, I got asked so many times that I was like, this must be something in need, right?
Yeah.
So I went home, I looked to see how much websites cost. I went to see like how can I like incorporate this in a business, right? And then basically I saw that you can make like a couple $1,000s per website, right? So I was like, okay, watch a shitload of YouTube. Basically, like, let me see how I can make this happen, right? Beginners or whatever, right? Landing page, all that stuff. So I was like, oh, dude, it doesn't seem too complicated. So the next time somebody asked, I made up like an email, right? At the time, right? I just made like a company up and stuff like that, bought a domain, made up a name. And then I said, they were like, oh, can you recommend anybody, right? Or do you have anybody? I was like, hey, you know what? Email this person what you want to get done. And then let's see if they, you know, what they would charge you or whatever it is that based upon you want to get done, if they go like on labor and stuff. So I had people start emailing, but the email went to me. So I was testing it out basically, right?
You were too scared to tell them I'll do it.
Well, I just felt like if I told you, right?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I know how to, you're like, hey, you know how to do website, right?
Yeah.
Work. And then I told you, you would feel like you're just trying to get like one up on me. In a sense, right?
I mean, that it sounds like that's probably like what younger Josh.
That's what I thought at the time, right?
So
I'm thinking like they're probably gonna think like I do, like I'm just trying to hustle them to like get on like too, which in a sense like I'm trying to provide more, but I didn't know how to say that at the time, right?
Yeah.
So I would route people to this like email. They would just basically say, oh, I want a landing page. I want to put my products, my services, or whatever. And then like the first website I ever did was like a couple, like $300, $275. It was something super cutty, right?
Yeah.
And then it just scaled from there.
Yeah.
And then I was doing like websites, which was like a side job or a side thing at the time, right? And then I got all the way up to like $2,500.
Yeah.
Doing it, but I really scaled that business like fast, and I learned a lot. And then I just shut down the social media management, and then I went all in with the website development. And then I rode that out for maybe a year and a half. And then I went into marketing media, right? And then it was consisting of the website development, photography, videography. And then I was doing consulting for a little bit too.
Okay, interesting.
So it was like, and then I learned like to put that all together was basically like I had a friend at the time, right? That was like, you need to just convert that to like an agency, and you can like outsource all these people to do these jobs.
Right.
And he was like, because you have like a good network, right? That you just oversee everything like project management. I was like, I didn't even know it's a thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's like way easier because then now I'm just overseeing the projects, make sure that shit gets done. But then I just gotta like outsource all the work, right? And then I wrote that out, and then fast forward all the way to like I had that, and then about a year and a half, and then we go on pandemic, and then it just exploded. Pandemic like did like that business, right? Which is Moves Media. Agency, which that just blew up in pandemic because everybody needed digital work.
What's the definition of blew up in numbers?
Like, I mean, I was doing it by myself, bro. I was getting like a couple thousand, right? And then like it just took off. Like I doubled or tripled that. You know what I mean? In 1 quarter.
So like what was the revenue for 1 quarter?
I would say like we're probably pushing like, I think it went from like 10 by maybe like, I don't know, somewhere between like 7 or 8 by myself, right? Yeah. And then just triple that in like 1 quarter pandemic.
So like 24K.
Yeah, about 24K.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's cool. And this is the problem with like media agencies, right? So for people who are, you know, because you can only project manage so much, right? Eventually you need to either fulfill the product so that you get the full margin, right? Because when you are outsourcing to all these different companies, then you know they're making the bigger margin, and you're making you know, like a markup off of whatever they charge you, right? So you know, for example, like there has to be eventually something that, you know, you're fulfilling, right? Otherwise, like, let's say, for example, I sold a website for 10K and I outsourced it to a company and they charge me 8K and I make 2, right? Or it can be the other way around where I can just take on the work, hire people in the Philippines, and it'll cost me 2K and then I'll make 8, right? So, you know, there's just a certain point where it's like, okay, I gotta, like, one of these products, I got to do it. Like, if it's the video side, I need to be the videographer, or I need to hire a videographer to work for me. So instead of paying a videographer, you know, $2,000 for a project, I pay a videographer $2,000 for a salary part-time. And he doesn't just do that one video. He does 5 videos, and then I maximize my cost, right?
100%.
But yeah, so ultimately though, like now moving forward, is that agency still around, or are you just like 100%?
No, I shut that down last July to go full force now with real estate.
Dude, you know, that makes, I think you had told me this at one point. Actually, I just remembered, but that makes me very happy, bro. It makes me very happy. Because, you know, we live in a world nowadays where we are completely infected by people who are like, oh, I have this business and this business and this business and this business. And what they don't realize is like they look like clowns to the rest of the world. Nobody can take you serious because you're not trying to master something. You're just trying to have a little piece of something. And if you're just constantly dipping your toes into things, you'll never be successful. You won't.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just the amount of effort, like, bro, like as we talk right now, I'm fucking exhausted, bro. I've been up since fucking 7:30 this morning. I did my 1 hour with church, and immediately after that, I was on the grind all day long. I'm mentally exhausted, bro. I've been fucking pitching all day long. I've been training new salespeople. My brain is like fucking about to explode, right? And this is me catching my 3rd or 4th win today to do this podcast with you, right? And after that, it's not going to stop. Well, I got to go home. I have a team in the Philippines. We have HR meetings, all these things, right? But like, people don't see that.
No. Right? And mentally exhausted is a different type of exhaustion. Like, I never have, I mean, with this last business, right? Once we blew up, like, and I was dealing with, you know, a bunch of, you know, freelancers, contractors, and then clients all at the same time, right? Making a ton of calls, cold calls, follow-ups, all that stuff. And then doing this now even more at a higher level to perform, especially in the market that we're in right now with real estate. The mental, like, exhaustion is different, dude. Yeah. Like, I never took, like, and I still don't. It's, like, rare if I ever take a nap. Yeah. But, like, if I take a nap, like my body like needs it. Like I like black out, dude. Like for 30-40 minutes I'm like out cold.
See, and if you guys haven't experienced this type of like mental exhaustion that Josh is talking about, this is the type of like mental exhaustion that can only happen when you're engaged and not just engaged for a little bit, engaged for like long periods of time. Right.
Yeah.
And most people don't understand what it's like for a day to finish and their brain is like pumping. They can feel like you can feel the veins in your brain like boop, 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 because you worked so hard. You use like all of your thought power. Right.
Yeah.
And some people, you know, and the thing is for people who are in businesses like where like our businesses are not like tangible. Right. You sell houses, the house is tangible, but the work to get that house sold or get the buyer or get the seller, that shit's not tangible. Mm-mm. Like if we were building this desk, we know when we're done.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And our bodies will be exhausted if we built 100 of these, right? Like, you know, but it's like, how do you measure what is and is not hard work? Because you could have just finished your workday today. You're doing a podcast, and you could literally like right after this go to a networking event, or go to a family party, or go to a friend's party. And some people think like I'm going to a friend's party to hang out. For you, because you're a real estate agent, dude, your business is always going.
Yeah, you're always networking.
Yeah,
I mean, but there is people that shut it off and they're just like whatever. But it just depends on the person, right? Anywhere I go now, like especially in like the last year, now that my mindset's like completely on like this one fix, right? Everywhere I'm going, I'm networking.
Yeah,
my team does a great job. Like my mentors that I look up to on the team, my teammate, that I really like literally talk to almost like every day, which is like Thomas Meza. Shout out Thomas Meza, right?
Yeah.
And I think you met,
cool dude.
Yeah, I think you met him, and me and him were partnered up on the same team, right?
Yeah.
And I know like Enrique, right? You guys know Enrique, Jason. So like they're the top management, right? But like me and Thomas every day like talk to each other, and regardless if it's coming from Enrique's mouth, Jason's mouth, or Thomas's mouth, it's like everywhere you go is an opportunity, right? Yep. And you need to make sure that people know you're an agent.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you're a secret agent, right? So like. And you want to make sure that people know that, whether it be your friends, family, and stuff like that, right? We just talked about that yesterday, how this guy, he was saying that an agent, right, that he does like SOIs or he wants referral business. So his thing is for like 30 minutes or an hour out of the day, he like contacts like his SOI or his sphere, right? People that he knows. And he said, dude,
So just for layman's term, for those of you who don't understand SOI or sphere, that means sphere of influence, aka your friends, family, people who know you, people who are in your sphere,
your circle, right? Yeah. So he was saying that he even asked his wife, right? He's like, I never asked my wife. So he asked his wife, and then his wife was like, yeah, I actually think I do know like somebody such and such that might be looking or selling or something like that.
His own
wife. He's like my own wife, then it's not. And then she's like, well, you never asked, right? So it's like, everywhere you go, you got to be like networking, right? And especially too, this help. I mean, I gotta give credit to a lot of people that, my friends, my family, all that. They put me on like leads all the time. A lot of my social media gets a lot of good like interaction and stuff that gets a lot of conversations going. The conversations, I take those as leads, right? Mm-hmm. So like I'll follow up with them like, hey, I know you had a question about this, or like I saw you comment on this program. Do you want to know more? Like this, that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like everything, once you become your own business, right?
Yeah.
You should be looking at everything as an opportunity.
You know what's interesting about that? So I want to take Outsource Plug from a 7-figure business to a 8-figure business. So because I want to take it to an 8-figure business, it's really important that I hyper focus. However, because I am who I am, I love to network. I love to meet people. I've always been interested in real estate, and I have a lot of friends in real estate. You know that, right? Like I was a marketing director for Century 21. I've always just networked with real estate agents. I've sold to real estate agents. I played a really big part in helping Aerial Canvas grow to the point where they're at. Like I know real estate agents like crazy, and I've always looked at real estate agents like, dude, I could do what you do better than you do. Like, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to unfocus from my business, because then I don't want to be that guy who I just talked about earlier. I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this, right? But luckily now I got a girlfriend, and that girlfriend's about to have my baby.
I can see that,
and that girlfriend is about to get her license in a month.
Oh yeah,
and it's funny because like one of my friends, he was like so adamant, like, bro, just recommend me, and I'm like, and it's funny because like, you know, and he actually, he's working with the lead right now that I gave him. But he ended up showing up to like a friends and family party, and I like gave him a little layup. But honestly, I'd rather give my girlfriend the layup. But the point is that, here's the point. As much as like, you know, you believe in you, I don't believe in you as much as I would believe in my girlfriend. And also, when it comes to commission, I'd rather keep that commission in my family. Right. But also, like, when we actually just got a referral for a deal that's happening out in Clovis, and we're like, fuck that, we're not going to go to Clovis, we'll just refer it to an agent out there. But you talked about how leads are everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
And just because I don't want to give out my sources, because I've been planning this for a minute, we've been part of a group, and this group, you know, they get together, and it's a bunch of people, and you know, one day they were just not expecting us to bring donuts. Like, nobody expected, like, and we rolled up with donuts. Okay. And
Krispy Kremes?
No, Stan's in Santa Clara. So, you know, that place, you got to wait in line to get the donuts, right? And everybody knows that. So I got the donuts, I got a coffee carafe, right? So a coffee carafe, and you know, everybody was just like meeting up, and we just showed up. And there were people who didn't know us before, who, because of the donuts, everybody was like, wow, you guys brought donuts. And I kid you not, I drop little, man, I plant little seeds. I'm not like in everybody's face like, hey, my girlfriend's gonna be a real estate agent. I'm slick with it. Because people always wonder, like, what do you guys do?
Yeah,
they always wonder, like, what do you do? Because I never talk about what I do ever. I always just like, I'm slick with it. So, you know, I'll drop little nuggets like, oh yeah, Lolo's in real estate. Like, she doesn't have a real estate license yet, but she's in real estate. We're sitting here in a real estate office, you know, because she's in real estate. And I kid you not, this just happened yesterday. A lady came up to me, and she said, you know, I don't know if you know this, but my daughter works at Lucid, and we've been waiting for her to get her stock options, and it's right around the corner. And she's telling me this in Spanish. Okay. And she was like, you know, I just really just trust you and Lolo so much. And I heard from somebody told me you guys are in real estate. And I said, oh no, not me. I'm not in real estate. She is. But I've been a marketing director. I understand real estate. Like, actually my company does like all the video editing for the you know, real estate. I showed her a bunch of listings, right? Like, and she's like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And she's like, I would love to give you and Lola the opportunity to help us buy a house. So like, bro, I'm always like looking for like, what groups can we bring value to? Because before we ever, you know, now it's going to be, dude, and I already know, dude, I've been waiting for this opportunity, brother, to like, I've been waiting for this opportunity to generate real estate leads for a long time. But I also like, I just genuinely believe in it. Like, you know, we're blessed with a good income because of the company. And now it's like, you know, every real estate deal is going to be like a cherry on top for our family.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Dude, how many deals have you closed this year so far?
This year's been a little rough, bro. Just because of market. So I only have 2 for the quarter so far.
Okay. Well, how about the whole year?
Well, 2 for the year, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah, and last year I was already double this by this time. And then fall and winter, I was able to sneak in another couple. Yeah. When the market kind of shift, because I nurtured a good amount during the summer. We'll see. That's kind of the game plan right now too, because a lot of the people, just the competition, and then honestly they're just not finding what they like enough to move forward or compete on these houses, because a lot of houses are going way over, right? And you know, things, if they slow down or they turn right, then people have a little bit more options rather than feeling like kind of in a sense like forced to just work with this one house. So I'm really taking it slow with the ones that I'm nurturing right now, but like when the time comes, then we like got to get to work. But the thing last year is like kind of, I would say I really winged it, right? And then this year I came with a lot more intention. And like I said, to the ones that shout out, like Thomas, right? He's been able to like really show me how to like push, right? But don't like push like pressure, but like just kind of see who's serious and who's not serious, right? And I'm using those skills now, or those tactics, I guess you could say now. And I'm like really preparing those people, right? You know, for the ones that are like, hey, you know, when the market kind of shifts, or I'm able to have a little bit more options or more inventory comes up, Like, I will be serious. And okay, if that's serious, then let's get you pre-approved, right?
Yeah.
Let's make sure that you are ready to go. It's like getting ready for battle, right? So if we were planning to attack, we want to make sure that we're ready. Last year I didn't do that. I kind of just winged it, right? And I got lucky.
Yeah.
So this year,
the two deals that you got, I think, like, don't go into details because obviously, like, this is like intellectual property, right?
Yeah.
But like the two deals that you came from, did they come from friends and family?
One was a friend, a lender.
Yeah.
That put me on, right? That
Perfect.
I've worked with before, and he was like, "Hey, I love the way you work, so
Yeah.
put you on." Shout out Jerry. Shout out Jerry, my lender, right?
Yeah. What company is he with? Put him on.
I'm not sure where he's at right now, but I know that it's him and Ursula. And his wife, they work together.
It doesn't, with lenders, it doesn't even matter what company you're at. Like, cause dude, we want to do business with you. We don't want to do business with the company. It's you, right?
Yeah.
So where are they located?
The Santa Cruz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're in Santa Cruz. Well, they used to work hand in hand. So we have the PRG and then we have Alliance Lending, right? Recently, they moved closer to where they're at because they would have to come to the office and stuff like that, but they're based out of Santa Cruz, right? But we formed a great relationship. I worked with them a couple of times already, right? It's always smooth process with them, and I've learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
But he was the one, basically, he had like a SOI, right? And he was like, "Hey, this guy looking over in like Los Baños area, I know that you like grew up there, right? From what you told me, you're always back and forth. How do you feel comfortable taking on the lead?" I was like, "For sure." Went out one weekend. We shopped like 7-8 houses, right? I typically don't want to do that because all the houses become super blurry. Like, people forget. They all like kind of mix into each other. But this guy was like very adamant about seeing a lot of houses.
Yeah.
We went out one more time after that. And then the second house that I thought fit him the best, he ended up submitting on that one and we won that offer.
Nice.
So like,
nice.
Yeah, so it worked out, right? 2 days, it was only like 2 times of showing, but right when we got to it, it was very fast with the negotiating and all that stuff and getting him a credit, right, for him to, get down his interest rate because a lot of people's concern is the interest rate.
Yeah.
So we were able to get him a credit. It's a slower paced market. So we were able to get him a credit, buy down the interest rate, and like now he's already like just him moving in. And then that was in, like with even now in a few months already, he's already built like equity in the house because of the way the market's going.
Well, bro, my mom bought a house in Merced 2 years ago. It's got over $100,000 in equity. Los Baños is even closer to the Bay Area than Merced, right? Yeah. So I could only imagine, like, the equity is definitely growing in these areas like crazy.
Quick, dude.
So my next question. So tell me about the second deal, the other one.
So the other one is it was a lead that I was put on from the team. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a little different, right? The team provided that one and stuff, but everything that they shape you up with, the taxes that they use, the consoles that we use, all that stuff, right? Prepare you. Basically, when you meet these people, you're like strangers, right? You meet them, we get a phone call, we're routed to like an area or a house that they want to see. We say basically like, okay, cool, we want to go tour this property, you set it up, right? And then basically after that, we do like a buyer console, right? We break down of like an overview of the market and stuff like that, what's going on, the trends, interest rate, their financial options, all that stuff. But we take them through like a roadmap of buying the house and like the process of buying a house, especially if they're single first time home buyers. Yeah. We did that, and then he was just very picky at the time, right? And then we just kind of, when the market shifts and stuff like that, it's like, okay, well, we need to show you houses, but that have potential, right? You can like upgrade these houses yourself, even if it's not like completely fixed up and stuff like that. So basically what we did is we found them something where the kitchen and everything, like majority of the work that needs to be done to the place, it's already done. It's just like very cosmetic stuff. Yeah. And he's super happy now. That guy, for somebody that was like really picky and this and that, by the time we found him the house, it was just crazy because his whole like, he just had shifted. Yeah. As soon as he saw something that he liked, he was like, boom.
So dude, check this out. I'm gonna tell you this right now. So while it's recorded, and we're gonna see how this works out. Okay. So just know that the group that we're with, that we're like really networking with, there's no other real estate agents. Okay. My girl's going to be the only one.
Okay.
Because she's not officially licensed. Remember that. She will be licensed in a month or so. No other real estate agents. And every nonprofit needs what?
Money.
So, pretty much we're about to make like a ridiculous offer. Okay. Because this nonprofit has like a really big event once or twice a year, depending on the year. And the event can be funded by $1 million house, like being sold at full commission. So we're going to make an offer and say, hey, one house per year, we will like pledge 100% of the commission made from that one house to this nonprofit. Dude, I've been like leaking the idea and people are like, wow, you would do that? Wow. Dude, how do you think that came back already? Like, how do you think like people have already started like, dude,
this is the same group that you showed up the donuts with?
Yeah.
Loving you.
Dude. So, but this is what I'm saying, right? Like I'm testing this out. I'm not even a real estate agent,
yeah.
But I'm just testing this out, right? Because what did we do for this nonprofit? We said, look, we believe in the mission that you guys are with. There's a lot of homeowners that are there, a lot of people that are inheriting homes, and we're bringing our talents. We're bringing our skills. Like, dude, you guys need help with videos? We can help you with videos. And you guys need help with this? We can help you. Like, we're filling needs. Like, you know what I mean? We're filling needs, and we genuinely believe in the cause, right? We genuinely believe in the cause. And we also genuinely want to like actually serve people. And regardless of whether or not they decide to do deals with us, you're still invited to come to the house and come eat. You should still bring your kids to come and swim. We'll still like hook you up. And then now, like, that idea is already like, it's already like getting around. So imagine now, like, dude, let's just say that there's maybe like 300 people in this organization. Okay. Do you not think that like in 1 year, if we like actually like give away a full commission check as like marketing, do you not think that like that's going to create like a big buzz? People are going to be like, dang, who are these guys? Right? Like, wow, they have a good heart. We want to help. We want to actually, hey, you should work with these agents who donated to, to the cause, right? We give up one and we'll end up getting more, right? So that's currently in the works right now. So it's like, how do you duplicate that? You know what I mean? How can you go like where, dude, you owned Move's agency. Like do you still have your camera?
No, I don't.
Okay.
The only reason I do like majority of stuff on my phone.
Yeah.
Or I have like the shooters come out now. Shout out Gabe. He's like, it's my guy, right? Always getting my content. He's the one that like really, gets a lot of stuff done, but I got my camera jacked, so it's San Jose,
yeah.
Bro. So
my point is though, is like, what is a group where you align with them 100%?
Yeah,
you could bring a skill, you could bring something, you could bring time, right? And you can serve the organization, and you can literally like love on the organization and love on the people. Where also like ideally there's no other real estate agents. Right. That would be like an ideal situation. You're like the one. And then you just literally never talk about real estate except for like, hey, I can actually use this license to help you guys. Dude, would you give up one commission check, one full commission check for a really good cause? For a really good cause. It's actually a really good cause. It changes a lot of lives. It really impacts a lot of people's lives, right? So would you give up one full commission check to help them, but for your name to be ringing among all these amazing people?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm a true believer that it's gonna come back.
Oh,
it's gonna come back, especially in a group of like 300 people, right? Like, somebody's gonna put you on again,
right? Exactly.
Like, you have to get at least one, right? And even if you get one, then that's back.
See, and the next step to that. The next step to that is that you have all 300 of them on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever, and then you post a lot of content, and then they see you all the time.
100%.
That's like, oh, thank you. That's literally like the next step, right, dude? Man, I feel like I've been built for real estate. Maybe I'll just build up the company to like 8 figures, sell it, and then like hop into real estate, dude. Because I just gets me excited, man.
I think business gets you excited.
It does, bro. Business does
makes you slightly aroused.
It does. I just hit the table like right now. Not even gonna lie.
No, but it's been you've been like that since I met you, dude. When we used to just chop it up at your brother's spot, right? Yeah. And then we would just talk from the chairs right there where we're waiting to get haircuts. Mm-hmm. You were always like geeking out about business, and it was always weird to me because you and me would geek out, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't really know each other at the time.
Right.
Yeah. But the one thing we did have in common is that we would like geek out about business. We would geek out about how to like the things that we were doing, right? The things that like tools you could use, right? Like stuff like that. Like I don't have those conversations with just anybody.
Yeah.
Especially like when I was like young back then, right? Like people are talking about what songs out, right? They're talking about going to the club. They're talking about the like just random shit that really doesn't matter.
The new drink, the new pill, the new strain.
They're talking about drinking Hennessy. You know what I mean? Like they blacked out last night. You know what I mean? Like that was a bar where like
fuck fool. I drank like fucking a whole 12-pack fool.
Yeah, I'm like, bro. Like I don't care, dog.
Yeah.
like that's really what it was though. I mean, the conversations are different, and I feel like whenever we talked, right?
Yeah.
You always geeked out on business. Dude. So I don't think if it's the virtual assistant business or if it's real estate, right? You're just always gonna be like you got a ton of love for that game.
Yeah, dude, and also too for everybody listening, right? Like to be very clear, I'm a big referral person. I literally put together deals. I love putting deals together for people. Like I love saying, "Hey, Josh, meet so and so. You guys are going to get along really well because he was a physique person. He's really into fitness. And I know that you value somebody who is also into that as well. Yeah. And you guys have like a mutual goal you're trying to get into. Like, you know, I'll put that together. Right.
Yeah.
All day long.
Officiator,
dude.
Yeah.
It comes from that book, The Go-Giver, dude. Like that's just all it is, bro. I'm always like trying to give value. And I think that's where like, you know, like as a real estate agent, right. It's like, you know, so many real estate agents, like kind of like how, you know, you said be more aggressive with like telling them about, you know, like real estate and answering real estate questions. Like, I think relationships start outside of real estate. Like, you know, I think that's like what, you know, how can you find somebody and like give them value? Like who has a son that's like fat and like you're going to go in there and train their son for them and like change his life?
And that's a life-changing event.
Right. And then those parents are going to be like, dude, this guy changed my, you know, he doesn't have diabetes anymore.
And those parents will put you on forever.
Exactly. Right?
Forever for changing their son's life, dude.
Yeah. And that's another thing, right? Like, dude, if you can find a group where you impact kids,
forget about it.
Coach Josh. Dude,
forget
did you play any sports when you were younger?
I played soccer for a bit and then I got kicked off the team.
Dude, you know what's funny, bro? I always I had this young guy who lived with me, Pepe. He used to work around. He used to follow me around, if everybody remembers. But I always told him, I was like, bro, like there's Deienza Force is down the street from where we live. Go join the team as a soccer parent or as a soccer coach, right? You'll start relationships with coaches or with parents who live in, you know, Cupertino, Los Baños, like that's like the elite team in that area. And if you're a coach, guess what? You're going to meet parents who not only put their kids in the sport, but they also travel and stuff, right? Like my brain is always thinking like, how can you mesh what you love and bring value to people at the same time, where in time it's just inevitable that you're going to get referrals.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Dude, and that's one thing that also too, another thing I think we always have in common is like networking, but like not just networking, right? We connect the pieces, which is, well, that's what I was saying, like what did I officiate, right? Or like officiating, right? Yeah. And somebody told me that one time, which I believe was Braulio, that used to work at the shop, right?
Yeah.
We were watching this documentary one time, right? And this guy, that's what his life, that's what he did like his whole life. Yeah. And he became like rich and famous off it, right? Of just connecting people and networking. Yeah. But it was classified as like officiating, all right, from his network. Yeah. But I've always done that and never even knew what that was, right? But I know that you do that heavy, and I feel like I've always tried to do that, but I feel like that's my way of giving back too, like for the people that have ever connected me with somebody. Hey, this guy can teach you that. Hey, this guy can teach you that. And then I always get connected with somebody that truly puts me on game, like just for the love of it.
Yeah.
And I try to return the favor so that I try to connect people with it. And I feel like that's how I've gotten to where my network is today.
Yeah.
By just providing value and connecting the pieces to other pieces, right? But I know you do that pretty heavy too. I still do that to this day, right? A lot of people, even right now, even though I've exited out of like the media group and stuff like that, right? Of the media or the content space, I get a lot of calls and stuff still. I still officiate majority of these deals or whatever the case may be, right? But I love to put my guys on, dude.
Yeah.
I love, and we just connected. I just got the guys a deal recently with Tostada Prime.
Oh,
I don't know if you've been there yet.
Have we been there?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we've been there.
Dude, the brothers are dope, bro.
Yeah.
I've been blessed to be able to know them, right?
Yeah.
Build a relationship with them and truly just chop it up with them and talk to them, right? And been able to see them from when Prime started and then to what it is now, right? But the guys now are going to be handling some of their marketing moving forward, right? Yeah. And I just was able to help officiate the deal, right? Put that together and put the guys on because I truly believe that those guys can make like their vision happen and stay consistent, right? And that I've been bringing them up to par because Gabe I've had under my wing for like almost 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Right? But I know he was ready to make the move to like a bigger fish, right? That guy I tell all the time, he's like he's a small fish he's a big fish in a small pond.
What does he do exactly?
Well, he does videography.
Right, dude. You should connect me with him just so I can.
Oh, believe me, I got a conversation after this podcast for you because that guy it's time to take it to the next level for him, right? And I even told him when I was coming over here is that my thing is before I leave here, I want to set you guys up so you guys can talk because he's at the level now where he's getting projects, right? Like I said, I trained him. I always told him like, hey, if you're just looking to get like a wedding or like a barbershop video or something like that, you're thinking way too small, bro.
Yes,
like for what I see in him, right? There's some people that I know that they're not gonna go that far, and that's cool. You make some money, weddings pay pretty good, right? But I'm like with him, I know that he can do better, and I challenge him all the time to do better, right? And he's very business savvy now, and even seeing him be able to go into the presentation with the guys for Tostadas, right? And like crush that, dude, it was like amazing to see. I was like truly proud of him, right? I was there to like back him up if he was to like fumble.
That's amazing that you were there to support him like that, dude.
I needed to see it with my own eyes, bro. Like I love to see him like really just absolutely crush it, right? Yeah. And not only that, he truly understands what I meant by like provide value, right? Yeah. Like hear their problems, bring and be solution based, right? Yeah. Some people just say, do you want the video or not? Right? And it's like, okay, well, like if you're going to pay for content, you got to solve some type of problem, right? Especially for a business. Yeah. So he gets it, dude. And, but the thing is now because he's been getting more of bigger accounts now, he just landed an account for the city of Los Baños to do their content for their new development. The big projects that are going on, city council, even the police department for Los Baños, dude. Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta connect you with my guy, bro, Anthony. But like, because you won't be able to edit very soon. Yeah, no, and that's where like you gotta like, dude. Nowadays, like we get like badass video editors for like $4 an hour. I told him, dude. Yeah. I said we gotta connect it. So my goal before I leave here, set you guys up. So that's another officiation right there, dude.
And here's the thing, right? Like, so even like depends on his revenue whether he qualifies to be an outsourced plug client or not. But like I'm on a mission right now. Like I don't care if you're a client or not. You're gonna outsource. Like everybody needs to fucking outsource. There's no excuse nowadays not to outsource. But there's a formula though that actually you remind me of, and it's a formula that I've used for years on how to properly officiate. This is the officiation fucking formula. So pay attention because this is really important. So, are you familiar with the term edification? Okay. Edifying somebody is to like lift them up. You know what I'm saying? Like, Josh, you're such an amazing person, dude. I love your passion for working out, and I love your passion for helping people and bring value. And man, we need more people in the world like you to, what I mean? So I could build you up. You know what I'm saying? I could build you up genuinely though, like not on some bullshit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, my boy Josh, he the GOAT. Like, why is he the GOAT? Man. He just the GOAT. Like, no, not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, like actually like, you know, really look into the traits of somebody and build them up on truth. Yeah. So then, you know, here's the thing. When you introduce two people, you don't want that to put somebody in a situation where they have to build themselves up. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm Josh. I'm an amazing real estate agent. I've closed, you know, 20 deals this year, and, you know, top 100 on that are like, you know, if somebody has to build themselves up, they sound kind of ignorant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I immediately start a conversation and I'm like, hey, Josh, I want you to meet, I actually want you to meet my girlfriend, Lolo. And you know what, Lolo, she's done so many amazing things. But one of the most amazing things that she has done is her work inside of social justice. She's actually helped raise over $100 million in funding. And they have an organization right now that actually takes so many people off the streets. And, you know, she's really a warrior when it comes to social justice, and her heart's there. And I just wanted to get to know you because now you, Josh, by the way, Lolo, this is Josh, and he's actually one of the top real estate agents in the Bay Area. You know, and when it comes to like any sort of like commercial properties or whatever, like Josh is going to be your guy. And you know, and also another thing too, like I've known him for years. You can 100% trust him. And the reason why I want to bring you guys together is because, you know, they, like I just said, they raised $100 million. She still has a $70 million budget. And Josh, I remember you were talking about these commercial buildings that sound like, you know, something that they could use together. So I just wanted to put you guys together, but do it in a fucking, like, if you can't do it in person, if you can't like sit them down for coffee, if you don't got that, do it in a text message, in a group text message, do it in a group Instagram chat, do it in a group Facebook chat. You do that for the people and you put them in one room, and then you say, hey, here, Lolo, here's Josh's number, and Josh, here's Lolo's number. Mm-hmm. And the magic thing about that though, the magic thing about that is that you actually don't even have to edify yourself, because guess who's building you up after you leave the conversation? Oh man, Lolo, man, that guy Anthony's just incredible, isn't he?
Oh, the people you connected.
The people that you connected, they're going to talk great about you.
Oh, 100%.
Bro, I was doing it all day at my birthday party. Hey, you got to meet this person. You got to meet this person. I was building people up, connect. And then I walk away. Bro, I connected people and I left. And I chilled in my apartment.
Yeah. I mean, that's usually how it goes, right? Like you like I said, we've always had that in common, right? With connecting and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of have the same approach, right? Yeah. As putting people together that I feel. I have a networking event coming up with my boy Thomas.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have an event coming up where we're not trying to make it so much just like a real estate event.
Yeah.
But I'm inviting a lot of business owners, right? Mm-hmm. I've been truly blessed, and I'm very grateful to have like a door open with a lot of these guys. Yeah. People that are very successful at high levels and stuff like that have even, you know, hey, send me the date, I'll be there, right?
Yeah.
But even connecting them, right? Some of these guys, like, they have some money, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, I need to figure out ways to, get around the taxes, like play the game a little bit better, right?
Yep.
So I want to bring like a CPA in so that they can and provide them value, right?
Yeah.
There's people that are gonna be there that do construction, right, at a high level, luxury properties and all that stuff, right? That I'm gonna bring in people that live there in the country club where I'm holding it. They do development, dude. Like development. They're not just doing like one house. They're like building neighborhoods, bro.
Wow. Okay, that's tight.
You know, so like it's like I'm trying to connect the pieces, right? Those construction guys might be able to like work with these guys, and if those guys somehow were able to all connect and work together,
yeah,
it's like it's a huge opportunity for all of us, not just me, but I mean like. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to make these connections, you know what I mean? And strengthen my relationships with these guys.
And you know what? The byproduct of that is that you're always going to get built up in the long run, right? Obviously, do your day-to-day hustle, follow up with your leads call. But when you're doing stuff like this, leads will come to you in abundance eventually, right? And dude, you know, it's funny. And even if it's not a lead to do business, like this office that we're sitting in right now, dude, I know it's might not sound like it's worth it, but this is a $10,000 per month office, right? I know it's because of the whole like Spaces membership, because you get like the co-working space and you get access to everything, and also it's in Santana Row, right? Yeah. So you know, I know I was like, damn. When I found out, I was like, damn. But you know, my name is
Kevin Hart down, like damn.
Yeah. and the thing with that, right, was why did this relationship even happen? Like, years ago, I introduced this broker to an agent who closed deals within his company and made him money, right? Yeah. So I paid it forward a long time ago. And then when it was time for when I introduced Lolo to the broker, he didn't even know we were dating, right? Like he just thought this was like another friend that I was helping him out with. And then he found out that we're dating. He's like, oh, well, since she's going to join my company, dude, hey, you can have the fucking key to my office too. And now nobody else uses it. So we just use it as a podcast studio, and I come here to work and get stuff done. And when we go to Oakland or everywhere else we go, then we actually have offices that we can work in, and it's tight. But the point is that, again, we paid it forward ahead of time. And what does that look like for you putting this networking event for these guys who do construction? Bro, they're going to throw you deals. Eventually, they will throw you deals, or they will throw you connections, or they will open up doors for you. And sometimes all they do is open the door, but you got to get in there and fuck shit up. You know what I'm saying?
It's like when, if they come to the event and I make the intro and stuff, right? It's up to them after that. You can't really walk people and hold their hand the whole time. But if you put these people in a room together, right? You basically, what you were saying, build them up, right? You build them up, and you're being honest, right? These people you do vouch for and stuff like that, they do great work, right?
Yeah.
And they have quality stuff that, that you want to showcase, right?
It's got the chills. Yeah, go for it.
The thing is you, in hopes that circles back, right? And I'm sure it will, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, you have to, even though the doors are open, you make the intro and stuff, you still have to do the follow-up, the hustle behind it and all that stuff too, right? You still got to grind it out. And make sure that you're still staying in front of these people, especially if they're new. Mm-hmm. You got to add them to your circle, or at least your network, right? But you got to stay in touch. And
hey, am I in one of your CRMs? You got me. You got me in your CRM.
I don't think I got you in the CRM, what? But I got you.
I'm hurt. He's like, this guy could never buy a house.
Come on, yeah. We already talked about this last time. You were saying she got a license on Poach.
So
I don't want to poach.
So what? Who cares? Put me on a spreadsheet, dog. Hey, you put me on your email list when when you start getting a ton of listings. Damn, I'm gonna be like, yo, I got a buyer for that fucking house right there. Put me on the list, bro.
I'll put you on the list, and I'll give you a spreadsheet.
All right. Well, dude, hey, we have to start wrapping up right now, but I always like to end the podcast with a bit of motivation, right? Because I think you understand the grind probably better than a lot of people. You've been through some shit.
I think we've both been through some shit.
But for you though, I want to talk about you, right? Because I'm gonna ask you right now to look at that camera, and what if somebody out there right now, they're just struggling, they're thinking about giving up. They don't want to continue anymore.
Yeah.
They don't they feel like it's worthless for them to keep trying. What is that thing that you're going to tell them so that they can just keep going?
So I would kind of like to correlate that question with something that you talked about earlier that I wasn't able to, when we started just kind of getting into it, right? I wanted to mention it, but I wasn't able to circle back to it. So this opens it up, right? Is that you talked about how you hate people when they do 10 different things, right?
Yeah.
It took me a long time to learn that what you meant by that, right? Mm-hmm. I thought that at a time when I was younger, right, that shit actually made me more busy, but I'm getting further. It actually made me less productive because I'm only doing things at 10%.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it wasn't until we really had a deep conversation at F's 1-year-old son's birthday. Right? Do you still remember that conversation?
I think I do. I think I was in a chair, right?
We were both in a chair, and I was telling you that I had started doing consulting from the company, right?
Yeah.
I would say, hey, I got the website, I got the videography, I got the photography, and then I said I just started doing consulting too, and I was pretty excited at the time because I was like, dude, people are paying me $250 an hour to tell them about their own business and stuff, right? Yeah. And I would lock in 2, 3 hours, 4 hours out of business, right? Just going through and stuff like that. But I just remember what you said, it just really stood out to me, right? And then just being that who you are, right? I really took that to heart. And
what did I say though?
But the thing is that you said, Josh, you're really good, right? And I'll look into this, right? You said, Josh, and I'll tell your viewers or your listeners this too, right?
Yeah.
Is that you said, Josh, you're really good at what you do, right? At all these things, but I need you to get laser fucking focused and be great at one thing.
Yeah.
Right? And or like you said, you have like a shotgun effect right now, right?
Yeah.
And you need to get laser focused on one. Right? And I was just like, fuck, dude. Like, I really took that to heart. Like, I thought about that, like the way you said it, right? And what you meant by it, because I knew I had good intention behind it.
Yeah.
But
I think, dude, I remember saying like something like, you're going to wake up like 5 years from now and it's going to be the same shit in 5 years if you don't focus.
Yeah, but I just remember the way that you said it is that you know, it's like, in a sense, like you're good at everything you do, right?
Yeah.
And you have this like shotgun effect, right? Like you're hitting all these targets, but I just need you to get like laser fucking focused and hit one and be great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, this motherfucker, right? And then I was just like, dude, that shit like actually makes fucking sense, you know? And at the time, like I said, my mind was like, the more I was doing and the busier I was, the more productive I thought and like successful you can like hurry up and get to be that pinnacle. But I was like, dude, that shit actually makes sense. Because I went on like a run like 2 or 3 days later, and that quote just stays stuck in my head for like a 45-minute run.
Yeah.
And I think I posted it, and you commented on it or whatever, and I think I had like tagged you, right? And I like really went by that. And not too long later after that, there was that guy, I don't know what his name, I always forget, it's like Alex something, he has like a band.
Alex Hormozy?
Yeah, he talks about how for him, right, he said I rather and I don't know how his quote goes exactly, but he talks about having 100 like he's shooting like 100 gold bullets or something like that, right, to get to the target, right? And it's very rare that you actually shoot one silver bullet and make it, right? So you're gonna like have all these like shots fired, right? And you might miss or you might fail and stuff like that, but like at least you're getting to the target, right?
Yeah.
But you gotta fucking like pick one route and just like go all in on it, right?
Yeah.
That shit just took me a long time to understand, right? And I could see it even right now when I told you like I quit all the other stuff just to focus on real estate. Like that really does mean something for you. Dude,
and you know what? It was hard, right?
It was hard. It's hard, bro, because you build up this company and it's like your baby.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, I gave it all this attention. This and that is doing great. But if at the end of the day, I didn't see myself doing that forever. And like this goal is a new goal for me. And I'm like, this is something I've been thinking about for like 4 or 5, maybe even like 6 years, right? I never did it. I did my license. And then I was like, what the fuck's stopping me now? And the only thing was stopping me at the time was myself. Because I wouldn't make the jump, right?
Yeah.
And then last year, right, I was able to close deals and still have that half-assed through the year. But then when I got to July, I'm like, if I really want to take this thing up a notch, or ever really want to take it up a notch, especially here in the Bay Area where there's so much opportunity, right, with all these crazy houses, and even at normal house, right, you can still make a good amount of money, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I really need to like just pick one route and be great. Right. And pick one business and just be great. And so my thing would be for your listeners and your viewers, right, is like whatever it is that you're doing, because I know in this day and age, dude, like people are doing like 5 to 10 different things, right? And like, hey, we need 7 different avenues or income, right? Master one, go all in with it, right? And then like break that off into like your other businesses. But you have to be like successful at the one first. Yeah. And that's what I'm on that road right now.
Yeah, and by the way, like I'm gonna tell you like when it's time to focus on another business, because I was working with this girl who has a spa, and she's like, yeah, I have a spa and I make these products and I do this and I do that and I do this, and I was like, you can't do that. Like you're abusing the spa. Like it's gonna die if you don't focus on it. And she was like, well, my investors have multiple businesses, and I was like, well. You have an investor. Well, you say investor like it's a fucking Prada bag. No, you have a responsibility to pay back that investor and give them a return, number one. And number two, if it's an investor, see, if this spa was not at $7,000 a month, if this spa was at 70,000, if this spa was not even 70,000 slow, if this spa was at 700,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right. If this spa is doing like $8 million, $10 million a year, it's automated. You're at a really good profit margin, and you can step away. You've systemized it. Then you can go do something else if you want. you know, but some people, I think most people would want to take a $8 million business to 80 million, you know,
100%.
So, yeah, man, I don't think you have to stay with one business forever, but definitely like if you know, it's like a plant. If you don't give it enough water, it's going to fucking die. Yeah. But with that being said, brother, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Josh_Lopez_real estate. You can on TikTok, Josh sold it. Josh sold it real estate. But you know, other than that, 408-824-3616, right? Plug me in, give me a call.
Direct message him for the networking events.
Yeah. I'm gonna be putting that up pretty soon. I'm just trying to finalize the rest of the venue stuff, right? To make it make sense for everybody. But ultimately where I'm hosting it, I'm trying to drive some business there, right? On a slower night. But you know, the final details are getting worked out, but I will definitely give you an invite as soon as that goes live.
Done. Appreciate you coming. Woo! That's it.